5 years of service, 5 years of transformation, 5 years of excellence. In 2009, the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, assessed the tax administration system in Jamaica. This meant that the IMF carefully examined the process of the collection of revenue. The assessment found that the tax appeals function was not independent of the tax administration, in conformance with international best practices. As a result, the IMF recommended the establishment of an independent body to execute the appeals function under the administrative control of the Financial Secretary. The replacement of the then Tax Appeals Department by the Revenue Appeals Division was a key deliverable under Jamaica's Economic Reform Program in December 2013. The steps to reform the appeals function into a modern independent body began with the drafting of RAD legislation in 2013. With the enactment of the Revenue Appeals Division Act, the RAD officially came into existence in August 2015. The Revenue Appeals Division was established as an independent body to facilitate the hearing and conclusion of tax appeals lodged by taxpayers who have disputes with the decisions of revenue commissioners about their tax liability, which means tax you are liable to pay the government. The leadership and staff of RAD have been dedicated to creating a center of excellence that is fair, transparent, and efficient. We will be engaging some stakeholders and staff members about their riveting experiences over the past 5 years.
Welcome to RAD, the Revenue Appeals Division of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Here at RAD, we provide an opportunity for taxpayers who may have a dispute with a decision issued by a revenue commissioner concerning his tax liability to have those issues addressed, possibly without the use of an attorney. Welcome.
Meet RAD's dynamic and visionary leader, Dr. Delary Staper Chambers, who has been with the organization since its inception.
The Revenue Appeals Division, as the name suggests, is a division of the Ministry of Finance, and its role and function is to handle appeals that taxpayers may have as it relates to the decision issued by a revenue commissioner. Revenue commissioners are the commissioners who head 1. the Tax Administration Jamaica, 2. the Jamaica Customs Agency, and 3. the National Land Agency. Now, from time to time, taxpayers may be aggrieved with a decision issued by any of these commissioners. And so what the tax system in Jamaica has done is to create an appeal mechanism wherein these disputes can be addressed. Once a taxpayer knows that any decision issued by one of the revenue commissioners can be challenged, then they will have renewed confidence in dealing with the tax system. And that inures to the benefit of tax administration overall and the economic development of the country. What we did was to look at the business processes that we were using to manage an appeal once it gets into the division. And we re-engineered those procedures. We computerized them, and we introduced a computerized workflow management system that is now helping us to manage these cases from end to end. We also look at how we were treating with the customer experience, and we have worked at changing the culture here at RAD to ensure that we are learning as we go so that we can respond better to the needs of our taxpayers and ensure that they have a more positive experience at the appeals. All of these efforts have inured to the achievements that we have achieved over the last 3 years, to the point where we are now seeing the vision of 90 in 180 by the end of 2022.
The Revenue Appeals Division has played an instrumental role in the professional development of its staff members and has embodied the mantra, driven by purpose, learning with intent. Meet some members of the committed RAD team.
Hi, my name is Monique Nelson and I am the Senior Legal Officer here at the Revenue Appeals Division.
Hi, my name is Georgia King Nelson, one of the Senior Assistant Commissioners here at the Revenue Appeals Division.
My name is Johan Harvey and I'm one of the Assistant Commissioners here at the Revenue Appeals Division. Here at the Revenue Appeals Division, I am tasked with the responsibility of adjudicating tax-related matters. I facilitate the meeting of the parties by way of a hearing, be it formal or informal, where various parties are given the opportunity to submit arguments in support of their objection or appeal and in defense of the assessments that are raised. After which, I would review the various submissions. If additional information or documentations are required, it is requested in writing. Review the various acts and issue a decision in accordance with the law.
As the Senior Legal Officer within the division, I have oversight responsibility for all the legal affairs within the division, which include reviewing our decisions before they go out to ensure that they are legally sound, and also providing our officers with legal opinions to assist in the adjudication of matters.
As Senior Assistant Commissioner, the main role is to adjudicate appeals that are submitted. 60% of the time that appeals spend within the Revenue Appeals Division are spent with Senior Assistant Commissioners or Assistant Commissioners. We are responsible for concluding matters that are submitted by the appellants.
But what inspires the staff of RAD to strive for excellent customer service daily?
Working with the Revenue Appeals Division since 2014 has been a rewarding experience both professionally and personally. I have been given the opportunity to hone my legal research skills, all whilst making a meaningful contribution to the equity of the tax system and serving the public. I enjoy working at the Revenue Appeals Division because we have a set of officers who are hard-working, dedicated civil servants and who are committed to our culture statement, driven by purpose, learning with intent.
I'm the recipient of the Commissioner's Award for the financial year March 19 to April 2020. For the previous financial year, I also received this award. However, this year, or this financial year that has passed, it was more rewarding to have received the Commissioner's Award, because in the first year it was a bit of a surprise, but I really did not think that the members of the division would have awarded the award to the same person the following financial year. So I was greatly humbled when the Commissioner was presenting the award and she called my name. I almost cried at the function, but kept my composure and all was well.
I am the recipient of the ACE Performer Award for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Incidentally, I also received that award for the fiscal year 2018-2019. I mean, that year I was in total shock because I didn't expect it. Being the new kid on the block, basically, and to crack that award, it was really mind-boggling. But to receive it in 2019-2020 was also a shocker, because that year was extremely challenging with the advent of the COVID and some working at home. I managed to crack that award and it was really an exhilarating feeling. I was elated, I felt proud, I felt a sense of accomplishment knowing that my efforts were really sufficient to crack me that award.
When the Commissioner presented the award, she said, I embody in her what makes RAD RAD. And that was very humbling. So therefore, I'm really appreciative of the fact that that award was given to me.
First and foremost, I love what I do here. And it is the love of doing that job which really drives me to give of my best at all times. Also, when it relates to tax, I strive to ensure that I not only seek to collect tax, but to ensure that the taxpayer or the appellant is advised, educated as to why he has to pay the tax. So I enjoy teaching, educating, guiding taxpayers so that at the end of the day, they will not just pay, but they will understand why they have to pay. And that drives me, that motivates me, that keeps me going.
Through its unyielding commitment to Jamaican taxpayers, RAD has built a reputation of professionalism and quality service. Each year, the Revenue Appeals Division has surpassed expectations. Let's listen to what some representatives of taxpayers have to say.
My experience was very positive during the deliberations process at the RAD. We took a number of appeals, approximately 13 appeals, through the entire process of listing the matter before the Appeals Division, having it heard, deliberating over evidence, and making submissions before closing. It was a very positive experience. It was handled very efficiently, handled very quickly, and an absolute pleasure for both me and my client. The matter was handled in a very pragmatic way. The Revenue Appeals Division's commissioner ensured that she paid attention to the detail of all evidence being led. We went so far as to visit the locus in quo. Simply put, that is, we visit the location of the properties being assessed and identified specifically what aspects of the properties the appellant sought to emphasize when challenging the tax decision. So we found that it was handled in a very pragmatic manner. The commissioner and the entire team at the RAD ensured to be very concerned with all of the facts being presented by our client, and we really feel like it was fairly managed and fairly handled throughout the process. If I could summarize my experience working with the RAD in one word, I would say proficient. My experience was handled very effectively. We found that the use of time was a masterful use, that it was done in a manner that my client was very satisfied, as well as it showed great detail and attention to the information being presented. So I would say proficient is the one word I would use to describe my experience.
When you get to the deliberation process, the RAD people are generally professional and knowledgeable. So in order to fight with them, you have to be prepared. Now, the objectivity that they bring towards the deliberation process, I am very satisfied with it. I'm satisfied with it in such a way that they don't come to the process with their mind made up. They have an open mind. So if you can use your facts law information and prove to them that what the auditors, the government auditors have decided is incorrect, and so they should listen to your argument, look at your facts, and if you can sufficiently convince them with your evidence and your facts, you're going to get the result and the desired result.
Revenue authorities are significant stakeholders in the appeal process, as they form a crucial part in fostering a harmonious relationship with the taxpayers. The Tax Administration Jamaica, National Land Agency, and the Jamaica Customs Agency share the real value added by the RAD.
We are clear as to the purpose of the Revenue Appeals Division, and as such,
we endeavor to be fully compliant with the requirements of the appeals process, because at the end of the day, we are looking about the business of the taxpayer. And in this light, both parties have an appreciation of that fact and as such perform their roles to the best of their abilities.
My experience in working with the Revenue Appeals Division has been rewarding, very professional. We have been interfacing with the division at a very professional level. We have had interfaces with taxpayers, and the exchanges have been very professional, very transparent, and we have seen rewards from our interface.
Currently, both entities, the JCA and the RAD, report to the government in some way, shape, or form. However, with the JCA, our mandate is concerned with border protection, trade facilitation, and collecting the revenue of the government. The government has provided an additional mechanism for taxpayers who wish to lodge an objection in the event that they are dissatisfied with a decision of a revenue commissioner.
Tax Administration Jamaica has benefited from having the Revenue Appeals Division overseeing or settling the dispute at that level. It allows us basically to pull on all the resources we have to ensure that due process is applied in settling these objections. So Tax Administration Jamaica utilizes the legal support in arriving at the decisions to be taken at the objections level. When these decisions are taken at the appeals level, we look back at the process to ensure that we would have covered all the relevant areas. And this allows for the taxpayers to be confident that the decisions that were basically given on any particular issue is solid.
For any system to be accepted by a taxpayer, it ought to be seen as fair and equitable, and taxpayers ought to have confidence in it, particularly in a country like ours. I mean, they have to know that the valuations are being properly done, and that the system is being properly administered. So I think that the RAD, giving the taxpayers an opportunity to challenge the valuations, even after the Commissioner of Valuations has had a first look to say, well, we don't agree with you, there is still that opportunity for the taxpayer to go to the RAD and says, well, here is my case. I want you to look at this on my behalf. And I think that is important, as much as it is perhaps a little bit of a nuisance. I don't want to call it that, but a bit of a difficulty for us in terms of having to prosecute the matters. As much as it is that, it is very, very necessary for the taxpayer to have that option to challenge the valuations. And I think the RAD plays an exceptional and invaluable role in that regard.
Going forward, the Revenue Appeals Division plans on continuing the improvement of the business processes and efficiency gains that we have made. We plan to improve customer experience by launching an online service where appeals can be filed using an online portal. This, we believe, will create greater access in terms of how persons access the appeals service. Additionally, we will continue to learn here at RAD by embarking on a rigorous program of training and development for our revenue appeals officers. This is to ensure that we continue to learn and to stay ahead in terms of the dynamic changes that do occur from time to time in the tax environment.
The Revenue Appeals Division will continue to be purpose-driven in its service to the public and adopt innovative strategies to foster further growth and efficiency in the revenue appeal process by modernizing its tax appeals process to world-class standards.